Normally I would say good morning, everybody, but it's about midnight or a little after, I think. Long story short is 3 weeks ago we shot this interview George's way, complete with green screen, stage lighting, this and that, and after watching it back, I absolutely hated it, and he didn't like it all that much either. So we opted to do it this way. Camera in front of me so I can talk to you guys. Him sitting across from me over here. He's going to ask the questions. So we had reshot it this morning for the fourth time actually. We'd shot it midweek, but something happened. And we shot it this morning. And had it all ready, set to go for you guys because we promised it'd be out on the 30th. And due to a technical glitch, it got erased. And I had people here installing carpets in my house, brand new carpets, and my day just got away from me, so I had to go to work. Got home at 11:30, took a shower, and here we are. It's now a little after 12 in the morning on Thursday. Now it's Friday morning, and we're shooting it again. So, with that said, there you go, George. Start asking away.
All right, my first question is about steroids. Are they good for you? Do they kill you? And should they be legal?
Are they good for you? Taken properly, testosterone and other steroids can enhance quite a few things. They can help with joint pain, increase your sex drive, give you an overwhelming sense of well-being, better mood, upswing in your mood. Taken in excess, like any other drug, not so good, not so much. Do they kill? For all the bodybuilders that have died and supposedly died of overdoses of testosterone or too much testosterone causing them to have heart attacks or doing damage to their bodies, there's a plethora of older bodybuilders that have survived over the years. Arnold Schwarzenegger, Lou Ferrigno, Dorian Yates, Kevin Leverone, Sean Ray, the list goes on and on. Dexter Jackson, who's 51 this year, I think, still competing in the Mr. Olympia this year, who've all taken steroids. Lots of steroids. Probably not at the doses that some of these younger guys are taking it nowadays. They're taking it to the extreme, but they've still taken a lot of steroids. The difference is that the smart bodybuilders and athletes go to the doctor, they're honest with their doctors, and they have their blood work done every 3 months. They have their liver enzymes checked, their hemoglobin levels, and that's the big one, hemoglobin. Mass doses of testosterone or other steroid substances thicken your blood and make your hemoglobin levels go up, which if you already have a pre-existing heart problem or cardiovascular problem that you didn't know about, then they're likely to kill you. If you go to the doctors and you're honest and you get these levels checked and you get blood let by a hematologist or just donate your blood to the Red Cross every couple of months, that thins out your blood. Take a couple of aspirin a day, that helps thin out your blood. These side effects are lessened. So it's not the drugs that are killing everybody, it's the lack of taking care of themselves while they're taking the steroids that's killing them. So I do not believe that the steroids themselves are what are causing the death. It's the lack of taking care of yourself or using them properly that's killing you. Should they be legal? I do believe that they should be legal. But our government has opted to lump them in as a class 3 drug along with heroin to make it a point so that high schoolers and college kids can't get their hands on it. Not that it's stopping anybody, trust me. So yeah, I think they should be legal. That's my take on steroids.
First question comes from Trevor Litwin. Are we ever going to do wild turkey shots again?
Yes, Trevor. we ever get into the bar, same time, same place again, we will do wild turkey shots again.
Number 2 question comes from Dave Karate. What is the ideal number of reps? How long do you rest between sets?
I can't answer that, Dave. Genetically, everybody's different, so what works for one person doesn't necessarily translate over and work for another person. You and I are actually perfect examples of that. You have the Franco Columbo or short bicep. I have the long head bicep, which, for those of you who don't know, is where the bicep connects to the elbow. When Dave makes a bicep, there's a gap in here between the arm and bicep, where mine goes right down into the crease. So what would necessarily work for your bicep, Dave, wouldn't work for mine. I've seen guys who take 10 minutes between sets and do 3-4 exercises, 8-9 reps each, and their arms explode. That would not work for me. I need to do 8 to 12 reps. I need to do 6 sets plus sometimes, depending on the exercise, and I need to do anywhere from 4 to 5 exercises per body part to stimulate growth, especially at this age. Holding mass, just holding onto the mass I have, isn't easy anymore, and it goes quickly when I'm out of the gym. And putting mass on at this age isn't easy either. It's very difficult. So that's my answer to that question. You're just gonna have to experiment and find out what works for you.
Number 3 question comes from Dave Karate. When do you know when your muscles have had it and when it's time to walk away?
Again, I'm not sure exactly what you're asking, whether or not it's time to, how do I know if my muscles have had it for a particular workout or if it's time to walk away permanently? I'll answer it both ways. I know when it's time to I'm done with the workout when I can no longer do a positive rep. In other words, I've done so many reps and sets that I can't pick up the weight and do another rep. My arms are just smoked. Then it's time for that session to be done. When is it time to walk away for good? I don't know. I'm not there yet. Your body will let you know, when you're done, when it's had enough. There are some people that think that my body's letting me know from the injuries that I'm done. That's actually more me with the old school adage of lift heavy or go home. That no longer works at 56 years old. The muscles are good, but the framework isn't so good. So, yeah, I don't know yet. I've no desire to quit or to walk away just yet. But I'm sure your body will let you know when your time is up.
Number 4 question comes from Dave Karate. If you had to pick one exercise per body part, what would they be?
That's actually a good question, Dave. Chest, I'd have to say incline bench. Shoulders, military press. Back thickness, T-bar rows. Back width, wide grip lat pulls. Biceps, preacher curl, triceps, skull crushers, calves, standing calf raises, quads, squats, hamstrings, leg curls, forearms, wrist curls. That would work for me. I don't know if that would work for everybody, but that would work for me, I guess.
Number 5 question comes from Dave Karate. You are already head and shoulders above most old bastards. What drives you to keep trying to get better?
Right now, what's driving me is to get on that stage. My apologies, I had to pause for a second there. To get to the finish line, to complete this journey, not give up, even with all the injuries I've had, and there have been many, over the last year and a half. Last year I had a bout of pneumonia. I've injured both my shoulders, my left one worse than my right. I blew out a bursa sac in my left elbow that had to be drained off 4 times, I think it was, before it healed. Tendonitis in both elbows. I just took a 3-month layoff to let my left shoulder heal because I tried working through it for about 8 months and it just wasn't doing me any good. So I actually took 3 months off totally from the gym to let it heal, and it seems to have worked. I've been back in the gym for 5 weeks, slowly testing my shoulder, testing its limits. It seems to be totally healed so far. So my goal is to just get on that stage, finish this journey, not give up, and not make a fool out of myself at the end.
Number 6 question comes from Dave Karate. What do you consider the best protein source?
The best protein source? Well, there are a lot out there, but I have to say whey protein isolate. If you're going to use protein powders, make sure you get one with a high biological value, a BV value, because there is a difference. The higher the BV value, the better the quality of the protein powder. My apologies, I had to pause again. Back to the protein powder. So yeah, generally speaking, the higher the price, unfortunately, is the higher the quality. It's not always so, but you can go online. They've made comparisons, and you can check out the differences. But generally speaking, the more expensive, the better. Most of the cheaper ones are just fillers, and they're not really that. They don't work very well. I'd tell you what I use, but I'm not sponsored by them, so legally I probably get in trouble if I spew out their name. So that would be that.
Number 7 question comes from Deborah Wingard. How is your beautiful wife?
My beautiful wife is doing just fine, Debbie. Thanks for asking.
Number 8 question comes from Kevin and Debbie Damon. How did you get involved in weightlifting?
Well, I started when I was a teenager to stop being bullied. I was a bullied child. Some of you may not even, some of you on Facebook who went to school with me may not even remember it, because a lot of it didn't actually happen in school. It happened outside of school, on the way to school, but I was generally chased from elementary school to probably my freshman year. Chased, ridiculed, called names, pushed around, beat up. It was pretty much sucked. Sometimes walking from my house to middle school was like running the gauntlet up Maple Avenue. I had gotten tired of it, so I started weightlifting, noticing that the big guys didn't get picked on, so I figured if I got bigger and learned how to fight, I'd be able to defend myself and I wouldn't get my ass kicked anymore. And it worked. Then I met Dave Karate, and he had a full gym in his basement that his father had built, so we spent a lot of our time in the basement working out throughout our later teen years. So that's how I got into it, and that's why I got into it.
Number 9 question comes from Kevin and Debbie Damon. What's the worst, hardest part for you at this age?
Getting my old ass out to the gym. By the time I get home from work around 11:30, take a shower, eat, watch a little TV. It's usually about 2 before I go to bed. I get up around 7. My wife goes to work during the day. The kids are at school, so by the time I eat my breakfast, take my supplements, have a half a pot of coffee, then I might be ready to go out to the gym. It's just getting up and getting my butt out there. Once I'm out there and I get warmed up, I'm fine. It's just some days just getting out there is like pulling an eye tooth.
Kevin and Debbie Damon also want to know, what else do you do for fun?
There's a couple of things I do for fun. One, I'll probably get in trouble with my wife if I tell you. But the other one is ride motorcycle. I have a custom chopper I built. I have a full dresser that we ride to the Adirondacks a lot. We've been out to Gloucester, Massachusetts, Pennsylvania. I like to ride long rides, 8, 900 miles, 1,000-mile round trips. I'm happiest when I'm on the bike, I'd have to say.
Number 10 question comes from Paulette Wiedemann. What is your incentive?
same thing as the other question. My incentive is to get on the stage just once. I have no delusions about being a great bodybuilder or getting a pro card. Father Time has seen fit to that. But to finish this journey and get on the stage, and that's just what I want to do.
Number 11 comes from Cindy Iafello. Why do you want to be so built?
We've answered that too, Cindy. It started off to not be a bullied person anymore. As I got to be in my 20s, I did it for women, obviously. Then I became a bouncer for a while, and the bigger you are, the better off you are as a bouncer, obviously. And now I just like myself at this size. I like to be big. I like the attention, to be honest with you. And I like the fact that I can still move things. I don't have to ask people for help. And I still want to look good for my wife. That's why now I look good for my wife, and I just feel better this way.
Number 12 comes from Cindy Iafello. What inspired you to do weightlifting?
We've answered that too, Cindy. Being a bullied child is what inspired me to start lifting weights. What's made me want to be a bodybuilder? That I couldn't even tell you. I started reading the magazines, Flex Magazine, Muscle and Fitness back in the day, to learn how to get bigger and what to eat, the exercises, and I liked the way the bodybuilders looked, and I always wanted to look like that. But for most of my life, it really wasn't about that look. It was about big arms, big chests, and a big bench. And then just here later on in life, it's now I've decided to want to be a bodybuilder. So.
Number 13 question comes from Katie Pappas. In the trailer, you wrote, "This time it's for you." What were your prior drives or incentives?
I guess I should have just lumped some of these questions all together. Katie, my prior ones were to not be bullied, impress women in the middle of my life, and then a bouncer, and now my incentives are, instead of trying to impress everybody else now, this is for me. Something I feel I have to do to not quit, to complete this. There's just something in me that feels the need to get there and get on that stage. So that's the part that's for me. Not doing it for anybody but me.
Final question. At this point in your life, age will most likely prevent you from becoming famous. Having great parents and a sense of what is right will most likely prevent you from becoming infamous. When it's all over and the Reaper turns and walks from your grave, how do you want the world to remember you?
I want to be remembered well. I used to joke with my wife when we first met that when I died, the pews would be empty, that nobody would come to my funeral, because in my quest to be not bullied, I created a persona of an asshole. Lack of a better set of words. So I usually come off as quite crass, quite rude, and didn't have a whole lot of friends for most of my life. And the couple of friends I've had in my life kind of fucked me over, or messed me over. However, I apologize for the swearing. So somewhere along the line, I decided that I didn't want the pews to be empty. I think it was after my father died. My father died alone. Had a heart attack in his apartment in Maryland. Nobody by his side, and there wasn't a lot of people at his funeral. There's a lot of family, but other than that, there weren't a whole lot of friends. There was a couple. So I want to be remembered as somebody who was a good friend, a good husband, someone that you could count on if you needed something. If I've helped somebody in the gym some way, because I've helped quite a few people, if they remember me for something I've said, something I've done, something I've taught them. I don't know. I really don't know the answer, other than I don't want to be forgotten. I don't know, something about that. I don't want to be forgotten. If this is the way people will remember me, I agreed to do this video for George for his school project. And somewhere along the line, I've decided that I want to have this done, chronicled, if nothing else, something to look back on, something that after I'm gone, maybe my wife can watch. I don't know. Or my kids, my grandchildren. I just don't want to be forgotten. I want to be remembered for being a decent person, I guess. I have a little story I want to tell. My gym, which you'll see during the workouts, part of the documentary, is 90% built by me. I built 90% of it. My tricep push-down machine, my leg press, my cable curl machine, my lat machine, my pec deck is half homemade, half factory. But there's one machine I couldn't build, and that was a Smith machine. I work out by myself, so using free weight bench, not the smartest thing in the world. So I needed a Smith machine. I didn't really want to spend that kind of money. So one night while my wife and I were out, she decided to start a GoFundMe page for me to get a Smith machine. I kind of chuckled and laughed and said, who's going to donate money for me to get a Smith machine? That's for people for more important issues that need money. But she did it anyways. The following morning we woke up and there was a $50 donation on there from my daughter, Christy, and which was was really sweet. So I went to work and I had told my wife, I said, if by the end of the day there was no movement on the GoFundMe page, to take it down. I said, I feel like a jerk. I feel like we're begging for money. I said, so take it down by the end of the day. She said, you're not begging for money. I'm the one that did this. I'm the one asking for it, not you. I'm like, nonetheless, I said, take it down by the end of the day. Jump forward, 4 o'clock in the afternoon rolls around. She calls me at work and she asked me if I had seen it. And I said, no. She said, somebody just donated the other $1,150. I said, who? She goes, it's anonymous. So I'm trying to figure out who would do this. So about 4:30 I punch out. I'm on my way home. Still racking my brains trying to figure out who would do this. She calls me back and says that it's posted who put the money there. And I asked her who. She said, your friend Dave Karate. I'm like, really? I couldn't figure out why. All the way home, I'm trying to figure out why he would do that. But I was happy. I said, I didn't say anything. I was thinking to myself, I was extremely moved by this, to be honest with you. Dramatically moved by it. Probably one of the nicest things anybody's ever done for me. So as I get home later on that night, I called him and I asked him. I thanked him first, obviously, and then I thanked him. And I asked him why he did it. And he told me the story. The year prior to this, he had posted on Facebook he wasn't going to celebrate Christmas. He wasn't even going to put up a tree. And I didn't like this very much because I had spent a Christmas or two alone in my life, and it's not fun. He eventually did put up a tree, but his girlfriend at the time lived in Texas and they couldn't connect for Christmas, so he was still going to be alone. And I looked at my wife, I said, there's no way in hell I'm letting him spend Christmas Eve alone. She agreed with me. So she went and bought him some trinket gifts. A t-shirt, a hat, this glowing bug thing that you put in a windowsill. I think there was something else, but I don't remember what it was. We showed up on his doorstep on Christmas Eve unannounced. And we celebrated Christmas Eve with him. We had a couple of drinks, I think he got out some cheese and crackers, and we talked. We reminisced about old days, stupid things we used to do, and then we went home. Apparently, he was dramatically moved by that action, because he said that action made him want to donate the money for the Smith machine, because he figured if anybody could do this at our old age, it would be me. So, from the bottom of my heart, Dave, I love you, man. Thank you for that, and thanks for being my friend all these years. To my wife, thank you for having my back, never telling me I can't. Thank you for being my wife and loving me. I love you. I will try not to break myself this time. Try to do a little smarter. And there's another friend I want to thank besides George here for doing this. And James Rappa, 350-pound, no neck, 5'10" guy. You can lay down on a bench cold and bench press 500 pounds. I learned a lot from him. I've trained with him, worked out with him in Springville for years. If you're watching, James, thanks for all your advice and everything you've done for me. So I guess that's the end of the question and answer portion of this video. I hope you'll all watch this journey to its logical or illogical conclusion. Hopefully the finish line will all get there together. And George will be coming into the gym on November 1st and start filming my workouts. So I hope you all learned something about me today. I hope you'll follow this journey. Trust me, as time goes on, I promise you, I'm going to make it interesting. So with that said, we'll see you on the other side. Ciao.